Ora invito Antonio Relvas, Director of Cybersecurity Strategy di ZTE.
Sorry, I will not do in Italian. I will do my speech in English because I will guess that you prefer that, as my Italian is very, very bad. So, today I will focus a little bit on the supply chain. What is this supply chain? So we did change the supply chain on the last 3 years of geographic position only. Where does this come from? What continent, what country? But with all the advance on cybersecurity and all the problems that we had, currently we are looking in the telecommunications world, that is one of my fields, of the main question: where is the supply chain on the end-to-end? So this is very complex for a telecom operator to give a service to a final client. It's a mix, an incredible mix of technology, of suppliers, on in-house developments, and a lot of things that they need to think. And now we have a problem. We have cybersecurity threats that are not only in one product, in one service, but can be somewhere around all of these incredible path in here. So let's focus on the picture on the right. If I represent a vendor, that I do, I will deliver telecom systems to the telecom operators. I will use my own supply chain that will come from different geographies, different suppliers, and even my suppliers have suppliers. Then I will deliver my system as safe to the telecom operators. That will develop on top of that. We'll have other service suppliers that will use their service to deliver to the final client. And all of these are based in hardware and software, of course. So let's keep a simple number in our minds. When someone is develop a product that in nowadays normally is a software product, only 25% of the house is developed by that company. The rest is reuse of other components of software, can be freeware, can be from other companies that will buy developments, but in-house, I'm only responsible around for 25% of this. And if you take a look to the numbers of the market, I don't have the percentages there, but the percentage is higher than 90%. All of our commercial applications contain outdated or abandoned components in there. This is something that we know for sure. If you look for a product that is brand new, in 6 months, that product will contain a part of them that is outdated already. So, as a vendor, when I analyze my supply chain, I will analyze on the bottom part for my suppliers and sub-suppliers. But as a telecom operator, this is not enough. So I will need to analyze what risks will come, of course, from my suppliers, for their suppliers, but all of the service that I develop on top of the technology, all of the service integrators that are using my technology to deliver a product to the ones that, in the final, are the final clients of the telecom operator. Let's think about Netflix. If Netflix fails, where is the problem? I know for sure that the client will comply immediately to the telecom operator because I have no connectivity. I will have a problem in speed. I will have a problem of wherever, but probably as a telecom operator to do all the analysis of a problem in here, the final problem that client can be on the washing machine. That have an IoT device in there that will have a breach and security and is messing the internal network of the client. Okay? So it's not so easy when we receive these kind of things to make clear where is the both points of the supply chain. Where does it start? Where it is end? So, wrong button again, sorry. So, of course, we know that vulnerabilities can be everywhere. Software, weak passwords, insecure configurations, malware attacks. We know all of this. I have there 2 examples. I will focus just on one. When we are talking about security of the supply chain that can and will cause damage to a final client, to a company, let's go for 3CX in there. 3CX is a VoIP service company that delivers a VoIP solution. So I have a company, I don't have physical phones, I have a VoIP phone that I can integrate on the laptops, on the mobile phones. And this company had a breach caused by a third-party supplier for their solution that explore the weakness inside of the final client IT network. So I have someone in the world that deliver code to 3CX that is incorporated on a VoIP solution that is installed in big corporations around the world. And this vulnerability, after exploit, I can enter inside the IT network. And this IT network can be everything. Can be the power company, can be the financial systems, can be a lot of things. Let me return to this one, just to give you a crucial example of a client where we assist them to do the risk assessments of third parties. We are talking about a major power company that delivers electricity. Easy, easy enough. So they use power meters at the client homes or client premises, if they are companies, that are intelligent. This means that they are connected through a GSM network that, in this case, will use 2, 3, 4, and 5G as available. And the power meter itself have a function of sending the numbers, the consumption of electricity, but they can also switch on or off the electricity of this client. So the power company have a core network inside that they manage, that they bought from Ericsson, from Nokia, from ZTE, from Huawei, I don't care, okay? With that core network, they will do the SIM provision, so to connect to the power meters. Then they will do their own work, so all the building, all the things that they need to do it. In the middle, I miss the radio. So they don't have radio. They don't have radio antennas. They don't have BSCs for the transport of this. And they are connected to the 3 major telecom operators on this country. So they have connections between a core network that they manage for their business, through 3 telecom operators that they use for transport, to the final power meter that have 2 main functions. One is for billing, and another is for switch on or off the electricity. In-house, in this so-called core network, they do their own code development. They put service integrated on top to give the final. So think about the supply chain that we are talking about. We have power meters, 3 or 4 suppliers, different suppliers that have supply chains. Think about the transport layer, 3 telecom operators with 3 different technology on top of it, on top of 4 generations of mobile networks, a core, and third parties. And they say to me, I need to do a supply chain analysis. How do I do this? And I say, come on, you are doing this looking to geographies. You can't. You need more than this. You need to have real cybersecurity concerns in the way, oops, sorry, wrong button always, sorry. So let's talk about how should they do this? How should they have concerns to start to look what is in there in terms of suppliers? And in here we have 2 concepts, the software bill of materials and the hardware bill of materials. What is this? Is to have very clear what is inside of product, Where does this come from? Who are the suppliers, the sub-suppliers? And with this, we can have cybersecurity intelligence on top. And when a problem will appear in the product, in the piece of code that is used on the product, we can go and roll back to see if any part of our network, of our systems, are affected. The same for the hardware bill of materials. So there are a lot of things that is involved in here, and I will like to introduce the concept of zero trust for the software bill of materials and hardware bill of materials. Everybody is talking about zero trust. What is zero trust? It's not trust nothing. It's being in there looking for everything. But normally, everything is a CM system that is looking for problems on the network for triggers. No, we need to go a little bit deeper on that. So when we are talking about product software bill of materials, we are talking about versions. How do I assure that my clients are using the right versions to have the latest updates and security? How do I assure that I do not carry any open source license risks? Do I have absolutely certain that I can always clarify a security issue in minutes of the products that I use and not days? I cannot have the liberty to say, probably I'm using this software as a source code somewhere, but I need to check and it will take 5 days to check. Come on, 5 days in cybersecurity, you can ruin a business integrally. And of course, all the representation part. On the hardware point of view is something that is kind of new, but it's something that the telecom operators are already consider this and of course pushing to vendors. We are talking about the specs of the electronic components. Where does this component come from and what do you use inside of it? Environment, of course, is nice to have. In our days, everybody talk about environment. The firmware manipulation, this is a very important part. We need to know if someone can access directly to the hardware itself and can manipulate what is in there, what is inside of the box. Both on software and hardware, we need to make sure that the lifecycle management is in there, is in place. I cannot provide a set-top box for a telecom company knowing that in 2 years I will abandon the support of this set-top box. This needs to be on top of the table. And of course, end of life, end of support for everything. So we are talking about proactive defense strategies in here. A couple of things to have in consideration in all the parts: vendor, telecom operators, third-party solution suppliers. Vetting. What is vetting? Vetting is a risk methodology that says for every risk that I have, I will have a human accepting the risk, or not accepting the risk, of course. So I need to make sure what is the risk, because all the products, when we do pen testings, hardware testings, and so on, will have risks exposed. I need someone to sign off and say, okay, I will accept the risk, but more important, I need to have someone senior enough in the company to say, no, I will stop this release, I will stop this product, I will stop this service, because the risk that will represent is higher than the revenue that I will have in case of exploration. The controls on the supply chain, the continuous monitoring, of course, and when the incident happens, we need to make sure that we will not react just because we need to react. We need to make sure that the plans are done and we have a clear path how to react, how to communicate, and how to deal with our clients and our vendors in this very close relationship in cybersecurity. So, once again, zero trust on the supply chain. How do we do this? Well, on the left side is the normal. The secure development is in there. We'll conduct all the tests, all the pen tests, all the the things that we need to do. But on the right side, on the operators, on my clients, the first point for me is essential. They need to have a clear view what they are demanding in terms of cybersecurity. They need to push this on the RFP, on the proposals, and design the contracts where these controls and these obligations are there for their suppliers. This is very important. If you don't know what you need to control, you cannot demand that your vendors will have the same concern than you. Of course, the regular risk assessment, including all the relationships from the different actors that are in there. And the last but not least, of course, to have something like a CM system, a SOC, a Security Operations Center, looking in real time, doing the right correlation of events that will assure me that I will have a zero trust methodology implemented that I can react on the spot, detect and react. How do we do this? I did not bring the picture for a telecom operator. I did bring the picture for a telecom vendor, for someone that is delivering telecom solutions. So before I will receive something from a supplier, I will define exactly what I want from that supplier. As a minimum, they need to comply with my internal policy on information security, cybersecurity controls, penetration testing, hardening, all of this. I will demand this from them. But demanding is not enough. I need to control them. So a part of the normal audits that we all know and we don't like, we will have, of course, we will test on delivery. We will not trust, so zero trust again. When we receive hardware or software, we will do the testing. We will not receive nothing without the proper testing. And of course, then we will have the dedicated network isolation, the software integrity checks, all of this. However, I did state that hardware is a problem. Access to the hardware is a problem. So after the product is ready, it will go to a warehouse, or it will go to transport to my clients. I need to make sure that this storage of components, this storage of equipments, and this transport until I deliver to my client is safe enough that nobody will touch it. Nobody will assess the equipment, and nobody will have the ability to mess what I say that now is safe. I did all the tests, I did all the hardening on top of it. Now I need to make sure that the physical part is in there. Of course, doing the correlation for a telecom operator, this is also true. They will put systems in the data center, check, safety should be safe enough, but they have equipment on the streets. If they allow that somebody will assess this equipment, this network, this BSC, a lot of damage can be done in there. The good news, EU is taking care of all the laws and regulations for this. A little bit late in my opinion, okay? Several of that nice initiatives that are in there, except for GDPR and the 5G toolbox that are already out there, the rest are in progress. And as good Europeans that we are all, this will take 1, 2, 3 years to be mandatory for everybody to do. If you took the 5G toolbox, is the first one, it's very good, that demands resilience, risk assessment, and a proper risk methodology to deal with the risks from all telecom operators. And the rest will have all the terms that I talk about regarding SBOM, hardware security, the need to have something in charge that will sign for the risks. So the CRA, the EU Cybersecurity Act, RED, the new EUCC that will be available at the end of this month and it will be mandatory are in there. However, these have a cost. Let me focus on the EUCC, that is something that will be available, if not next Monday, it will be after a week. It will, so this is a stamp, as we have the CE approved for all the equipments, for all the radio equipments, this is a stamp that is saying EU cybersecurity approved. This will demand for all the vendors to have a common criteria test on top of the equipments. Can you imagine just a simple device, like a mobile phone? You need to test every single versions of the phone, of the hardware. Simple. And the operation system, okay, iOS or Android. Okay, it will be simple. Then the vendor will have a customization on top of that, that will have major versions and minor versions. Not so simple, because a minor version, we all know that our phones, every time that it prompts you need to install a new update, there are parts of the year that will get this every month. So imagine you need to have a proper test for an independent lab that will cost you around 7,000 to 10,000 euros on top of this. Then we have the telecom operators that will develop code for when you put your phone on, we'll have some integration in there with the telecom operators. So this also needs to be tested. My question is, do we have money in a business case to do all of this at the same time? Or should we push this for the entire supply chain in a way that we can do this in an integrated form? Sorry, wrong button. And my conclusion, it's only need a bad apple in the box to ruin the box. We need really to be careful with this one. Thank you.